Play by play. Day by day.
I'd like to introduce.
Listen to the day by day. Play by play. Day by day. Listen.
I'd like to introduce.
Listen to the day by day, play by play. Day by day.
I'd like to introduce.
Listen to the day by play by play. Day by day.
I'd like to introduce.
Listen to the day by day, play by play. Day by day.
I'd like to introduce.
Listen to the day by day, play by play. Day by day. Listen.
I'd like to introduce.
Listen to the day by day.
I'm coming out swinging, baby. I'm coming out swinging. I'm like, turn me up some, please. Thank you. I'm like Manny Pacquiao, man. That little Filipino dude, he don't fall down for nothing. He don't stay down for nothing, I should say. Everyone falls down from time to time, but he don't stay down for nothing. Ali against Frazier, to the death. Don't stay down for nothing. Making sure everything's good. I appreciate the warm welcome of applause. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Day at Night Live. Now, some of you may have been here last night, and you may be wondering, weren't you just here last night, and was your phone tripping? No, your phone wasn't tripping. The audio on your phone and TV and computer and tablet and iPad works perfectly fine. Last night was a series of unfortunate events, to say the least. Let's talk about the live stream. Last night did a live stream at 8 o'clock p.m., planned it all week. Had my dog G Rich in here, owner and host of the G Rich Show, Granville Richards. Was a great show, dope show for a whole hour and a half. Had the segments lined up, had the videos lined up. We did video reactions. Everything was smooth. It was a great show. Not to mention, we looked fly as fuck. My man G Rich had on the throwback Charlotte Hornets starter jacket. Clean. Purple and turquoise. Clean. And yours truly, I had on a throwback Atlanta Falcons jacket from, what was it, 2001, 2002? All black, Michael Vick, 7. Best quarterback of all time. I had that joint on. We was clean, y'all. We was clean. The episode was amazing. However, no audio. None. Not even from a cell phone. No audio. I record on the Rodecaster Pro. I plugged it into my computer, but I forgot to click one little measly ass button on Ecamm Live, which is what I record and stream through, and it didn't pick up the audio. So we did a whole hour and a half episode with no audio. You couldn't hear anything we were saying. Granted, 24 people tuned into the live while we were shooting. Nobody stopped to say, drop a comment, hey, we can't hear you. But it's not their responsibility to say that. That's 100% my fault. I fucked up, my bad, my blunders. And it was an hour and a half worth of a great show, worth of great content down the drain. Couldn't do anything, had to delete it. I was crushed. But see, the crazy part about that is, that was like say you have a sandwich, the podcast fucking up was just the meat and the cheese and the lettuce and the tomato. It wasn't even the bread. It wasn't even the start or the end. The start, woo. I'm getting anxiety just thinking about yesterday, y'all. The start of yesterday. I can't remember how it started, but as soon as I get home, I get 2 pieces of mail. One of which being a speed ticket that I got in Maryland when I was in Maryland last week for the holidays. And that's one thing about Maryland and DC and PG County and all that shit in Baltimore, man. Them cameras, bro. Like in North Carolina and Charlotte, there's no speed cameras. There's no red light cameras. People run red lights more than they do yellow lights out here in Charlotte. It's crazy. Like, I've become adapted to it at this point in Charlotte. When you see a yellow light, that means haul ass. A red light means you have a good 2 seconds. But anyway, in Maryland, DC, PG, all that shit, speed cameras, red light cameras, and they're everywhere. I drive with Waze. Waze points out the cameras, all of that good stuff, but yet I still found myself getting a speed ticket at a camera that I know is there. And I'm like almost certain I didn't speed. Of course, I mean, the honest guy don't lie, but that's crazy. Shout out to Desi in the background. If y'all can see her laying down on the floor, that's Desi Des. She's usually not in here doing Desi. All right, she's knocked out. She's usually not in here doing recordings. But anyway, the start of the tail end of my day when I get home, get 2 pieces of mail. One is a speed ticket. The other is a letter from the Department of Revenue from North Carolina, NCDOR, North Carolina Department of Revenue. I owe the state taxes. I messed up. Just like I forgot to click one measly button on my audio settings for my live stream. When I started my new job in 2024, I forgot to click one measly check that would have took state taxes out. So I went the whole 2024 without taking any state taxes out. And Uncle Sam sent the letter today. Now, I already set up a payment plan for IRS. So I owe IRS, and then North Carolina say, hey, you ain't take none off of state too. We need our chicken off top. Send me the letter. I'm not going to tell you how much I owe them. I'm going to just say this. It could cover rent in a luxury apartment. It could cover 1 month's rent in a luxury apartment. That's how much I owe the state, right? Get the letter from the state. Get the speed ticket. That's just to start the day. I'm like, fuck it. Me and Granville yesterday, we recorded the live stream at 8:15 p.m. I started setting up at about 5 o'clock. Cameras, lights, had to get my topics, had to get my subjects, had to get my segments I met, had to get my videos that we were reacting to. I set everything up. From 5 o'clock. I mean, listen, what you're looking at this isn't no amateur hour, what you're looking at here. This is quality production, professional actually. The lightings that I have, the blue lighting in the background, this microphone, what you're looking at right here on the DSLR camera, 4K camera, I'm shooting at 1080p though. This microphone, all of this is professional quality, ladies and gentlemen, that we're dealing with. So this isn't just, I just put up an iPhone and hey, I'm live. No, this is a presentation. Day at Night is a presentation. It's a late night talk show. So I take pride in ensuring that it is just that. But being ignorant to clicking on one measly button flushed all that down the drain last night. So that was the middle part of the day. You may think it's over, right? No. So after I fuck up a whole hour and a half live stream, that started at 8. The Eagles played at 8:15. We started the live stream at 8:15, so I missed the first half. And the way we've been playing lately, I haven't been pressed to watch them. I'm going to just call it how it is. I saw someone posted a story who's an Eagles fan, said, I'm at peace in life so much right now that I don't care what the bum ass Eagles do. And I felt that wholeheartedly. That's how I've been moving all week. I was like, I don't care if I missed a game. But the thing about an Eagles fan, the thing about any true sports fan, especially football fan, is we may say that about our team leading up to the game all week. But when the game comes on and we tune in for the first few seconds, we're dialed in. So after the live stream, I realized I fucked up. I'm like, damn, okay, well, let me just watch the Eagles game. Maybe it'll bring me some hope. I tune into the game. The last 2 minutes of the first half, we look garbage per usual. Offense can't score. Jake Elliott's missing field goals. Coaching is bad. Offensive coaching is bad. Saquon Barkley, as soon as he gets the ball, he's tackled in the backfield. It just looked bad from the jump. So we go to overtime. Cool. We managed to go to overtime. We have the momentum. I'm like, you know what? My birds are going to pull it through. And after a while, it's in overtime, The Chargers kick the field goal. We get the ball back. We're driving down the field. We're in the red zone. I'm like, okay, we're about to score and win this game. I need this. This night has been filled with fuck-ups and bad news. I need this. We're about to win. I'm already starting to feel good. I'm already preparing my post for, what I'm about to post on Instagram and all that. I'm already feeling good. But what happens?
This is a sick Negro.
Jalen Hurts. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I still stand 10 toes on Jalen Hurts. To this day, even still, I've seen him make plenty, and I mean plenty of bonehead mistakes just like he did last night to cost us the game. He threw an interception to cost us the game, and that was game over. He threw the interception, game over, and we lost. We lost in the most gut-wrenching way. We're in the red zone. We're driving. We're about to score and win. We threw an interception, game over. It was forced. It was a forced pass, game over. And I was just like, damn, bro. I mean, it was perfect. You couldn't write a better ending to the type of night I had last night with the Eagles losing, on top of the podcast malfunction, on top of getting a speeding ticket and a letter from North Carolina Department of Revenue stating that I owe him some chicken. And then something else happened, but we ain't even got to get into all that. But the reason why I say all of those things is not for you to feel sympathy for me. No. I say that because, let's rewind a little bit. When I got back to Charlotte December 1st, I decided I was going to start 75 Hard. Now, for those who don't know, 75 Hard is a 75-day challenge. Well, really a 75-day mental transformation program. That's what it's called by the creator of it, Andy Frisella. He calls it a 75-day mental transformation program. In these 75 days, you have to stick to these 5 things no matter what. And if you fail any of the 5, you have to start from the beginning. Those 5 things are no alcohol, 2 45-minute workouts per day. One of them has to be outside. Read 10 pages a day of a nonfiction book. Drink 1 gallon of water. Stick to a strict diet. So my diet is, I already don't eat pork. I barely eat beef. But my thing is I have a big sweet tooth. So my diet is no sweets. I'm not eating any sweets for these 75 days. No beef, no pork, which I already don't eat, and no sweets. And you have to take a progress photo every day. Those are the 6 things that you have to do for 75 days, which leads to a mental transformation. And I started it because I'm trying to go all in with day by day. I'm ready to embark a new journey in my life, and I want to make sure and ensure that I have the right state of mind going into this new part of my life, because I don't need any fuck ups. I don't need anything holding me back. And I'll just be honest, alcohol has held me back. I work out a lot, but every here and now I miss a workout. It's just not being as disciplined. So I decided to start this. Cool. Now, the hardest part about this, honestly, is probably that second workout, the 2 workouts, because I usually work out once, but you have to split it and do 2 workouts a day. So I say all that to say that the whole point of 75 Hard is, it's in the name of it, 75 Hard. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to train your mind and your attitude towards doing something that you don't want to do no matter what, which is discipline, which is mindset. So I say all that to say, with the way things were going to shit yesterday, I still managed to, do my 75 Hard yesterday. So I had to start over on December 8th. So that was day 1. Yesterday was day 1 because I had to start over. Ain't that crazy? Yesterday was day 1 of it. I was like, wow. So today I woke up and I was like, damn, I still felt the carryover from yesterday and last night. I'm not going to lie, because it was such a good episode. I was looking forward to posting clips. Nothing. The Eagles have been struggling. I've been looking forward to them kind of helping me bounce back, and my team is back good. Shut up the Dallas Cowboys fans. Nothing. They lose. I've been having to spend money already left and right. Boom, boom. Here's 2 more on top of that. More bad news. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this rainy day ruin my parade, ruin my week. And what's even better than that, I should have loaded up this video. Damn, I should have loaded it up. What's even better than that is this morning, a good friend of mine, my boy Nas and Biz, they have a podcast in Virginia called Nothing But Discussion. And about 2 years ago at this point, or was it last year? 2 years ago, that might have been last year. I was on their podcast and I gave like a little gem just talking about how a lot of people will have a bad day and they figure that makes their week go to shit. But you have to take it step by step, day by day, no pun intended. I said something around that. And he posted it this morning and I saw it. Mind you, this was after I had a horrendous night last night. Excuse me. This isn't ASMR. This was after I had a horrendous night last night. And I saw that. And I already kind of woke up like, damn, I'm in a bad mood. I feel it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to still do 75 hard, which I did do. I got both of my workouts in. I read. After this bottle of water, that'll be a gallon for the day. I did everything. I didn't no sweets or anything. I did what I had to do. Still cranked out 75 hard regardless after all the bullshit. But then I saw the video that my homeboy Nas posted and I was like, that's just what I needed. And it's a reason why I'm doing 75 hard. I'm like, this shit, I ain't going to stay down. I ain't going to stay down. Fuck it. I'll tell y'all one more thing that happened. It was a job I was very much looking forward to in the media space that I knew I knew I would have got. And I got reached out to by the company saying that they had to put that position on pause. They said they loved my background. They really was looking forward to me coming in, but they had to put the position on pause. I get it. Times are tough for everybody. Pockets are slimming down for everybody in every business. Well, not every business, but most. I get it. Cool. Not cool, but cool. So all that, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not staying down. I talk to myself. I don't know about y'all, but I talk to myself. I'm like, I'm not staying down. This is all just making me sharp. That's all it is. This is all just making me sharp. All of the bullshit that happened, the Eagles losing, all that, it's just making me sharp. I'm not staying down. So with that, doing 75 hard, which like I said, makes you do regardless, you're going to do what you have to do regardless, no matter the circumstances, no matter the setbacks. And that's why I'm here right now. I didn't, at first, I was like, I'm not going to do that shit again. And I wish I could do it again with my homie G Rich, but I'm not going to have him pull up 2 nights in a row you know what I mean? So, but I was like, yo, I still have to do day and night. Like this is something that I told myself going into 2026, I wanted to consistently do every week. I was like, I still got to do day and night. So I'm like, you know what? I did 75 hard. I did what I had to do for the day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do day and night again. And I didn't have no script like I usually do. I don't have no script. I just said, I'm gonna just speak. Well, I do have a script. It's something that the topic of today is podcasting in 2026, but all of this ties in. I'm about to land. Stay with me, folks. I'm about to land. So I said, I want to do day and night still, regardless. And I'm reading a book, Black Privilege, by Charlamagne the God. And one thing that he points out, which he actually lives by, you could tell through his content and through the Breakfast Club, one thing that Charlamagne lives by, and that he said that whether you're a radio host, podcast host, content creator, is that one of the best ways to build a connection with your audience is by living in your truth and shedding light on your truth. And we all know that the truth, more times than not, is ugly rather than pretty. So that's all I'm doing. This is all the day and night is. It ties in. I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna tell the people what's going on. I'm gonna tell them what happened. But I'm not saying it for them to feel sorry for me. Hell nah. I'm saying that I'm built for this shit first and foremost. And second of all, I want y'all to be every part of it. Every part of this journey with day and night. Because that's all it is. You're talking to day at night. That's all it is. So yeah, man, I ain't folding. My bad, y'all. I drink a lot of water. And I had Chipotle, which has a lot of salt. So I ain't folding. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty of things. I just had to open up with that quick monologue. Now, although I'm not folding, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not upset about the Eagles losing last night, because that was some bullshit. I just knew the Eagles were going to win that game last night. I just knew. Okay, Jalen Hurts threw 3 picks before overtime. Offense looking shaky per usual. Saquon, I call him Shayshawn. Shayshawn broke one, 52 for the tutty. Cool, we needed that. But still, besides that, it's like every time he touches the ball, he gets hit in the backfield. We're not looking our best. We're not. Offensively. Defense comes to play. The only game they didn't come to play was against the Bears. Defense comes to play. So I'm like, man, that one really hurt. That was tough. I'm not going to lie. That was a tough loss. Like the Bears, okay, you kind of saw it from the second quarter that, boom. Cowboys, that was tough because we were up 21. I think this year Cowboys was the toughest loss. This has to be the second toughest loss because we go to overtime. We have the momentum. We're looking good. I'm like, we're going to win. We're driving. We're in the red zone. Pick. Now, it's so many parts of the offense, and not only that, Jake Elliott. Like, it's so confusing, bro, because we're such a good team and we're such a especially good playoff team. But it's like we do dumb shit in the regular season. Jake Elliott, just like last year, regular season at least, missing field goals. But then in the postseason and Super Bowl, he's one of the highest percentage field goal kickers of all time in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs. He does his thing in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts, regular season, throw picks, does questionable plays, but playoffs and Super Bowl, he turns up. So I'm not going to lie. And then not only that, just to talk about the offense one more, I don't know, it's play call. My man's, he hit me up, asked me, is it the offensive play calling or is it Jalen Hurts? I said both. And not only that, A.J. Brown. I mean, he calls out players, he calls out coaches, he calls out game calling, game planning, rightfully so. But he has to get called out too. He had two crucial drops. One was that slant or that dig route across the middle that went through his hands because he knew he was going to get hit. Yeah, he had to jump and he was going to get hit, but okay, catch the ball. It went through his hands, interception. The second one was towards the end to win the game in the end zone. Jalen put it in his hands, and he didn't necessarily drop it because he dropped it. It was a good play by the defensive back, Cam Hart, number 20. Perfect performance from Maryland. Shout out to the crib, but I mean, those were two in his hands. And then there was another like bomb that Jalen threw to him that looked like he kind of, I don't know. But I'll say this, man. I'll say this about the Eagles' loss to the Chargers. We just lost, 3 in a row. We just lost 3 in a row. Our offense doesn't look good. Looks very questionable. A lot of people are saying we're going to be first-round exits in the playoffs. A lot of people are saying Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts. He's a bum. Cam Newton was right. I'll say this, despite all that, we're still winning the Super Bowl. I'm as optimistic as it comes. I'm as optimistic as it gets when it comes to being a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I cuss them out. They get on my nerves. I'll tell them about themselves. I'll call them garbage, trash, all that shit. But at the end of the day, I rock with my birds and I rock with my dog, Jay Hurts. Why? Because he's taken this team to 2 Super Bowls. He's never missed the playoffs as a starter. He's a Super Bowl MVP. And now y'all going to say, oh, the team carried him. Oh, he's only there because of Saquon and AJ. Let me ask you this. If it's so easy to go to a Super Bowl with a good team and win, then why did the 2007 New England Patriots lose to the Giants in the Super Bowl? They were 17-0 leading up to the game. They were clear favorites. They had Randy Moss, second greatest wide receiver of all time behind Jerry Rice, but if you ask me, he's the number 1 greatest. Defense was unstoppable. They had the GOAT at Tom Brady. Why did they lose? If it's so easy to win just because you have other pieces, why do these teams lose in the Super Bowl that are favorites? Because at the end of the day, you have to win the game. And the quarterback is the most vital piece in winning a game. That's why they're paid the most. That's why they're praised the most after wins and scrutinized the most after losses. Easily. If he played like garbage in the Super Bowl last year, we don't win. He had to make tough runs and tough throws. He played superb, which is why he got the MVP. I say all that to say he's looking bad right now. He's throwing picks. But I guarantee the play that he made that cost us a game in overtime, that interception, I guarantee he's not going to make that same throw in the postseason. And if there's any quarterback in the NFL that I have faith in being ridiculed to the most right now, everyone's stepping on his throat. Commentators, other coaches, coordinators, podcasters, radio, everyone is dogging him out right now. If there was any quarterback I had faith in that could hear all that, block it out, lace up his boots and get to work and be better and be prepared for the playoffs, it's Jalen Hurts. If there's any coach, they're talking about firing Sirianni. If there's any coach that I had faith in that could block out the ridicule, block out the noise, lace his boots, Shave his head again if we have to. We drove this man to shaving his head because he was scrutinized so much 2 years ago, last year, and got it done. We were talking about firing him last year. I remember that, right? Super Bowl winning team. We were talking about firing him last year. Shaved his head, laced his boots, got to work, won the damn thing. If there's any coach, Nick knows what's going on. Nick been through the mud too. Remember when people were saying Jalen Hurts and Nick were beefing? If there's any quarterback and coach combo that I had faith that can turn things around, it is Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, because they've done it before. They've been under the fire before. They came out on top. If there's any field goal kicker that I had faith in that is fucking up and missing these 50, 48, 45-yard kicks in the regular season that can turn around and make them in the postseason and Super Bowl, is Jake Elliott. Why? Because he literally does that. He did it last year. He didn't miss a single kick in the Super Bowl last year. Or the Super Bowl before that. I think he's perfect in the Super Bowl. Jake, the playoff make. I don't know. I just think our team has a real playoff P type vibe. Now, you might be saying, listen, you gassing it. Y'all look bad. There's no way y'all going to just turn it on overnight in the playoffs. Well, why not? How do we know they won't? Playoffs is a whole nother beast. Whole nother beast. Do you really think people were saying in 2007 that the Giants were going to make the playoffs first and foremost? They was a wild card team. They snuck in. And do you think people were saying they was going to run through the playoffs, run through the NFC, run through San Fran, run through Green Bay? And do you think people were saying they was going to beat the undefeated New England Patriots with Randy Moss and Tom Brady? Do you think people were saying that? Playoffs is a different beast. This man right here, Jalen Hurts, this is playoff P. Prime example. He exudes playoff P. If there's any quarterback I had faith in that could turn it around for the playoffs, it's him. Damn sure more so than another quarterback in our division. I'm not going to mention any names because then Cowboy fans will be salty. Let me ask y'all something. Do y'all really have faith that your quarterback can turn up in the playoffs and take y'all to the Super Bowl? Realistically, no. Why? Because he's never done it. I have faith in someone who played kind of questionable and skeptical in the regular season. Comes playoffs, he turns it around. They said he couldn't throw last year. They said he couldn't play last year. Playoffs, does his thing, take us to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl MVP. It's doable. I'm just the type of person, listen, y'all see the hoodie. I'm just the type of person, I like to pay attention to what someone has or has done already. Not what they're capable of possibly doing. Not, what's that word? Potential. I don't give a damn about potential. I want to see what you have now and what you have done before. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, QB quarterback, they've showed that they've screwed up before, brushed the dirt off, blocked out the noise, laced their boots, got to work, and got it the fuck done. Same with Jake Elliott. So I got faith in my birds, man. Just like that. Go Birds. And make sure you revisit this. Save it, highlight it, download it, all that. Make sure you revisit this. I'm going to put it on Instagram. All right, let's get to the next topic of the night. The main topic of the night. You tune in the day at night. This is a live stream, right? But it's actually technically a podcast. The thing, I've been podcasting, just to give y'all some backstory, I've been podcasting technically since November 2019. That's when I did my very first football podcast episode. I started my own kind of everyday podcast in January or February of 2020. It was called Going Smack Radio. From that, I turned it into the Day by Day podcast, maybe a year after that. Then I formed Day by Day Network, which is my LLC, which is a podcast or media network, if you would. And I've been going ever since. Evolving, which is a key piece of podcasting, which we'll get into. Evolving, make sure that, apply the certain necessary changes, the enhancements, I should say, and just keep it going. So I just wanted to give y'all some backstory on that. I'm still going, though. I know podcasters that have lasted 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and are gone. I know some that are still going, still doing their thing. And they went from podcasting to live streaming, whatever it is, they still doing their thing, and they're still technically podcasting. This is technically podcasting. podcasting has so many elements now. Like people come up, or people, like if I'm at the gym or out, people say, hey, I watch your podcast, or I've checked out your podcast. And I'd be like, oh, did you watch it on YouTube? They're like, no, Instagram. People can watch your interview clips on Instagram and consider that watching and tuning into your podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I used to get salty about that because YouTube is the bread and butter. That's what you really want to drive people to. But you gotta, okay, they're not going to YouTube, but still they took time to listen to and dive into your interview clips, so much so that they even recognize you. So you know it's not they just skimmed through. They actually took time to indulge in your content that you made. Cool, not mad at it, but that's just what podcast is, especially in today's world with the attention span of the average media consumer shrinking by the day. So it's going to lead into that. But anyway, I'm going to get into a reaction of Joe Budden, who is the podfather, if you would. Him and Joe Rogan, the two Joes are like the OGs of podcasting. Joe Rogan and Joe Budden have been doing it for a very long time, have been and still are very successful at their podcast, and so much so that their podcast brand is bigger than brands. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this video.
For podcasters out there, it's dark. Me and Ian predict that 40% of podcasters will be done in the next few months.
Months?
Most of them are done right now. They just not announcing it. They're not saying it. They holding on by the thread of their skinny. Yeah, I see it. I can see it. They finished already.
40%. So he said 40% be done in the next few months. I could see that because it's an ever-changing cycle. Like you have new ones every few months, and then those new ones, out of those new ones, most will leave, some will stay, and so on and so forth. So I get what he's saying by that. But I mean, I'm telling you, man, over these years, like the amount of people that I've seen and that I've helped start and help give them the tools to, and nothing, and they leave. Not even that. Like I do podcast consultations. I've had one in particular, and I saw it from afar. This dude, he signed up for a consultation. We're talking. I'm just giving him the game to the podcast, and he's telling me everything he has and the ideas that he has. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he's getting very excited. He's like, yeah, like I'm going to have a segment where I do this. It's going to be called this. And me and this person, we're going to talk about this and do that. He's getting very excited. And it hit me. I've seen it so many times. I told him, I was like, bro, listen, I could tell you're excited. I could tell you're very anxious for this to happen. I'm telling you right now, all this don't mean shit if you don't do it. After this call, I'm going to give you an assignment. I gave him an assignment. Did he turn it in? No. I said, I'm going to give you an assignment. Do it. You need to start, because all this excitement is going to slowly vanish away more and more as you get further and further away from this call and haven't done anything. That was a year ago. Do you think the podcast was ever started? It's not a game. It takes work. It takes work. And people think that it's just, oh, I'm excited about starting a podcast, so I'm going to start it. And either they never do because those thoughts never turn into action, or they do and just be one and done because they realize what it really takes.
Niggas are doing everything but podcasting. Said this last part, I'll say it again, and I'm not going to beat y'all down. Podcasting is tough. I know people think that you're just sitting on the couch and yakety talking with some people
it's
you
a
know.
full-time fucking job.
It's a full-time fucking job, literally. Like I be telling people I work 2 full-time jobs. Like I posted on my story sometimes. I'll be up till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, editing, producing, getting stuff ready, lining up stuff. Like I said, with this live stream, I have to set up. If it's just me, I set up about an hour in advance. But if I have a guest on with the live stream, I set up about 3 hours ahead. And if I'm doing an actual one-on-one interview podcast, that's an all-day setup type thing. From getting the talking points to setting up the equipment, cameras, lighting, everything. It's a full-time job. And we ain't even talk about editing, producing, lining stuff up after that. It is literally a full-time job. And I'm glad that they shed light on that, because a lot of people think that it's just you plug in a mic and you go and you have a successful podcast. No, that's another reason why a lot of people stop, because they think it's just that. And they realize that it's not. They realize that it's a lot of goddamn work, and they either don't have the drive, dedication, time, or patience to put in that work, so they stop. We see it. I see it. We see it all the time. Fly-by-nights pods. And that's no, you know what I'm saying? That's no diss to those people that have started and stopped, but it's just a testament to how real and how dedicated this shit really is. Like I've been podcasting for going on 6 years. And I'm still like, I'm cool, but I'm still not where I'm gonna be. I'm not gonna say not even close, but because I'm closer to where I'm than when I started, but still 6 years. And it's tough. It is tough. But I'm sticking with it because I'm dedicated and I know what it takes to put towards it. So I'm able to do so.
Balancing potting with balancing your life.
Yeah.
It can get tough. I'm rooting for all of y'all to fail. I've said that before. I'll say it again. You're not about to do nothing. You don't believe in yourself. You're not about to invest in yourself. You're not trying to improve. You're not trying to get better. You don't know nobody. You don't network. You don't do shit. Move.
Those are bars right there. Hold on, I gotta run that part back.
Your life.
Yeah.
It can get tough. I'm rooting for all of y'all to fail. I've said that before. I'll say it again. You're not about to do nothing. You don't believe in yourself. You're not about to invest in yourself. You're not trying to improve. You're not trying to get better. You don't know nobody. You don't network. You don't do shit. Move.
Okay, let's go down that whole list. He said what first? You don't believe in yourself. I just said that you don't believe in yourself. You're not about to invest in yourself. Oh my God. So yesterday, G Rich was on the show and we were talking about this topic, which is why I'm still a little sick that the audio didn't work because we literally covered this and it was such a good talking piece. But he asked me, he said, how much have you spent on podcasting since you started? We're talking equipment. We're talking travel for interviews that I've done on the road. We're talking interviews. I've paid for one interview with producer Lex Luger. I'm not going to say how much that was, but it'll cover 1 month rent for an okay sized, an okay apartment. Doesn't have to be luxury. I'll just say that. Interviews, equipment over the years, trial and error, time. God, the time I've wasted on messing up, just like last night, stuff like that. I'll say money-wise, just monetarily. I told him, this is just a guesstimate. I'm almost certain that from the time I first started in end of 2019, beginning 2020 to now on podcasting, man, I probably spent well over like anywhere from like, I think like anywhere from like 12 to 15 G's, 10 to 15 G's, something like that. I mean, because me, I'm someone that prides myself on quality. Like you see it, you hear it. This is quality, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this is a quality product that I'm putting out. This is quality production. I have professional lighting in my room and next door in the podcast room. I use 3 professional cameras with lenses. And if you know anything about cameras, you know that lenses are the bread and butter. They cost the most too. They cost more than cameras. Microphones. This microphone right here, SM7B. This bad boy is what, $400 a pop? I got 2 of them. But you can't just get the microphone. You have to get something called, you have to get a preamp with it. This right here. And this is the cheap route. This is $100. You have to get this with this. And not even to mention the XLR cable, this is $100. Some people use Cloud Lifter, which I think is a little more. Then you have to get another XLR cable. XLR cables can be anywhere from $30 to $40, $50, $60, $70, depending on the quality and the length. Pause. My cameras. Can I take this off? I can't take it off, but this shit is expensive. But you have to be willing to do that because it's all about evolving. Now, I'm not saying if you're podcasting, you have to pay for all this shit right up front. No, over time, I've bought all this stuff over a time period of 6 years. I've slowly accumulated all this equipment, all of this knowledge with this podcast shit over 6 years. 6 years. So like, yeah, you have to invest in yourself, time and money. Unless you just, I mean, some people, now granted, some people just, they say, listen, but you still have to invest money. If you're one of those people that's like, listen, I just want to pay someone to record, edit, put it out, everything, cool. You still got to pay for that. And that's not cheap. To use someone's studio, that's not cheap. How do I know? Because I rent out my own studio. Shout out to Desi in the back. And if you want to rent that, Peer Space, hit me up. I'll send you the link in Charlotte. Editing ain't cheap. So that's money. If you pay someone to do that every week, that's money. That's why I created my own production studio. Because I know how much it costs to pay someone to do that every week. And I'm like, and I don't want to be on no one else's time. That's why I set up everything on my own. That costs money. So yes, you have to, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to invest in yourself. All right. Can I add this to the, what does this say? A tarot card reader told my cousin to love himself. All right, yeah, I'm about to block this fucking guy. Who is this? But anyway, it costs money and time, bruh. Like with this podcast and shit. It's not sweet. There's a lot that goes into it. All right, but so that's one part. Okay, he said you're not investing in yourself. No, people aren't. You see it. You can't, listen, man, when you start a podcast, you can't be at the same point you started from 5 years ago. I got a homie, G Rich. He has his own podcast and he does live streaming as well. To see his setup and to see his production and to see everything that he's done from 3 years ago when we first met to now, it's night and day. But that's because he's invested into it. So he has to invest into the product. You have to. It's like anything else. Literally anything else. Anything else you're chasing and trying to get after, you have to invest in yourself and better your product over time. It's about quality. All right, that's one.
You're not trying to improve. You're not trying to get better. You don't know nobody. You don't network. You don't do shit. Move.
Yeah, the networking part is important too, man. Because it's a community. All right, it's a community, and that's how you get better. Reach out to people. I'll be reaching out to people. So my thing is, I'm trying to get into radio. Plus, I think it translates to podcast. I be soaking up game from radio hosts, from radio jocks, from sports radio hosts. Like, because it all coincides with it. You're speaking. Like, you have to be able to articulate yourself well. You have to be able to present a show through audio for those who are listening. You have to entertain. It's not easy to, listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm doing it, but entertaining people by yourself for more than a couple minutes is not easy. But I have things structured to ensure that I'm able to do it. So I said that to say he's definitely on point. And see, he might even be talking about like celebrities. And that's another thing. That's another thing. Podcasting is such a, people who think it's such a easy thing to do that we see it, how like so many celebrities podcast and athletes, professional athletes, current and former podcast, and a lot of them fall off or no one tunes into their shit because they suck. Like, even like celebrities and stuff and athletes, they think, oh, I already have the following. Like, yeah, your following is going to carry over and tune into your podcast at first because it's something new, it's something exciting. They want to see what's going on. But even with these celebrities and athletes and famous people, that shit don't last long because they suck. They're garbage. They don't articulate well. Their product isn't set up well. They ask the same questions. God damn, everyone asks the same questions with the same people. They interview the same people, ask them the same questions. How did you start? Who were your idols when you grew up? What's your inspiration? What's the craziest story when you were on the road? And it's all the same shit now. It don't matter who's asking the questions. If it's the same shit, and if you're scared to really dig into that shit, if you're scared to really be yourself, if you want to play by the rules and be politically correct, no one's going to tune into that shit. That's one thing I pride myself on Day by Day. I say this is an authentic space. Me, my guest, all that shit. It's authentic. That's what it is. So if you're not being yourself, if you're trying to sell a dream because you think that's what it takes to be a podcaster, oh, I got to sound like this on my interviews, it's going to go to shit. It's going to go to shit. It's going to go to shit. And how do I know? Because I've been there. When I first started out, I had episodes because I thought it had to look and sound a certain way. I had episodes like that where I looked and sound the same and wanted to be politically correct and sounded like I was doing an interview. I used to write down the whole podcast episode out on a piece of paper, top to bottom, filled, and I would try to read it off verbatim. And I stunk. And I fucking stunk. But I kept investing in myself. I'm like, you know what? Okay, this obviously ain't working. I said, I got to be myself. I got to be myself. Went from that to having talking points, being myself, but still giving the people and my guests me. And it took it to another level, especially when I got here to Charlotte. And you have to have a plan with your podcast. You have to have a plan. Not necessarily, I think a niche is good for a podcast, but you definitely have to have a plan. Like when I came to Charlotte, I said, I literally had it written on my whiteboard. I said, I want my podcast to be the hottest podcast in Charlotte. That was my plan in Charlotte, North Carolina. I wanted it to be to where when people mention a podcast in Charlotte, they mention me. Mind you, I just moved to Charlotte, didn't know nobody, had no leads, had no people to interview, nothing. For a whole year, just I say like 10 months, I didn't even do any interviews because I didn't know anybody. But I said, okay, it's time to put this plan to work. I started interviewing people, reached out to people that had a following, had some type of reputation in Charlotte. Got turned down a lot, but a few came on, just enough. And it got popping. I was myself. I was authentic. I'm entertaining. You got to be entertaining at the end of the day if you're going down that route. If you want to be informational, then you have to, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like the type of vibe in the show I created, I wanted to be entertaining. I'm entertaining. I just needed the people to see it. I bring on people that know people in Charlotte. They come on. The episodes get popping. And it just goes. Clips. I have over, 10 pieces of social media clips that hit at least 1 million views, and they all took place in Charlotte. Boom, going. Talk about Charlotte. Got to talk about Charlotte. Got to bring people on that's from Charlotte. I'm striking the algorithm. I want my algorithm to be based on Charlotte #1. Boom, striking it. Striking the algorithm hard. Not saying it's to brag or nothing, but when if I'm at the gym, if I'm out grabbing a drink, or people say, yo, I know you from the podcast. I'm not lying. But that's because that was a part of the plan. That was the structure from the jump. I didn't just want to jump on a mic and say I have a podcast. Yeah, I live in Charlotte, but I'm day at night, and I have a podcast. No, I said I wanted my joint to be the hottest one in Charlotte. I wanted Charlotte to know what the fuck was going on. And it did just that. But the thing is, after that happened, I got comfortable. And I didn't evolve. And more podcasts came that sounded and looked just like mine. So it got diluted. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do day and night, which is why we're here. And I said, you know what? I'm going to switch up my platform a little bit. I'm going to make it look like this a little bit more. I'm going to bring some more, I'm going to bring some women on. We're going to talk about some more real life dating and sex and real life situations. I had to evolve. You have to evolve with this shit too. You have to. Joe Budden's podcast, perfect example. It was him, Rory, and Mal in the basement on a couch. He went from them to his crew now. They shoot at the nice crib in Jersey, I think it is, across from New York City. You see the skyline in the background. It looks good. He moved on from different hosts. His co-host I met. He evolved plenty of times. Every podcast you could think of has evolved over time. Whether it's setup, whether it's production, whether it's co-host, whether it's niche, whether it's segment, whether it's platform. This day and night, this is technically a live stream. This is still Day by Day podcast. It's still a podcast at the end of the day. Like, this falls under my podcast. But it's because I wanted to add something new, which you have to. You have to evolve. You have to be able to add something new. You have to be able to adapt. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. That's one names of the game. That's one small piece of the game. But in 2026, yeah, man, I mean, a lot of people are starting even still because, you know, like I said, I rent out my podcast studio and I produce podcasts, and people are still starting every day. Regular people like you and I and celebrities and athletes, every day people are still starting. Every day. But the cream rises to the top. A lot of them are going to fall off. A lot of them are going to stop after a while, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years. A lot of them are going to stop. A lot of them are going to fall off. Because it's a lot. You got to be able to invest into it. And especially if you're someone like a regular Joe Jane like you and I who's starting a podcast, don't expect like from the jump you're going to get 1,000 views and get this large following and large community. No, it takes time. Even like after a year, it's still going to kind of be muddy. It takes time, man. Especially now because there's so many. Like when I first started in 2020, it was kind of easier to, because it wasn't, but now everyone has one. And all of them sound the same. Find your lane. Make sure it's a different lane. Make sure it's a unique lane, an original lane. And go head first. The people that really make shit happen in this world are people that do something and bring something to the world that the world has never seen. And nobody does it like they do it. Many try to mimic, but by the time those people try to mimic and try to do how they do it, they already on to something new. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. So if you're interested in podcasting, if you want any advice deeper than that on podcasting, you can click on the link in my link tree. Link in the bio, set up a free consultation. And we can find out, you know what I'm saying, what your needs are. We can go from there. But I mean, listen, man, it's not sweet. This podcast game is not sweet. And I see it so many times. And it's so easy to see. It's so easy to tell now. You're like, yeah, you can tell if someone's not even going to start. I'm like, yeah, they're not even going to start. I could tell. They're too excited, talk about this, talk about that. They keep writing things down and typing up spreadsheets and asking ChatGPT. I'm like, they're not going to start. And they don't. Or people that do start, I'm like, they're not going to last long. They're not invested into it. They just doing it to, you know what I'm saying, get some notoriety on social media, or, you know what I'm saying, try to get some clout from it. They not really invested into it. Nah, they're not going to evolve with it. So that's that, man. Hey, listen, man. Truly appreciate everybody for tuning in the Day at Night. We'll be back next Monday night at 8 p.m. I'm only doing it now because yesterday's episode, like I said, got messed up, had technical difficulties, no audio. But you can't keep a real one down. Like Jadakiss said, we gonna make it. We gonna make it. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay sane, but most importantly, stay blessed. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, like my man Terror Destroyer 665 did. Send this out, all that good stuff. And follow me on IG as well. That's where I drop clips from my Day at Nights IG at DaiByDai with an I, not a Y. DaiByDai. Follow me on IG, y'all. We out this joint, man. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay sane, but most importantly, stay blessed. Y'all know I said it twice, but that's how important it is. And make sure you have that right state of mind, man. We all go through the bullshit. The bullshit is inevitable. 100% is inevitable. But it's brought upon us to see if it's going to keep us down or not. Yesterday was terrible. But that shit ain't going to keep me down, man. Real ones can't be kept down, man. Ain't no way in hell. Y'all be good, man. We out this joint. Peace.